Hello. Hi everybody, how you doing? Today, we are looking at Now That's What Alka Music 65. Originally released in November 2006. Let me just do the maths, I make that about 13 and a half years old now. So we're really closing in on the present day. Currently, the Now series is on 105 volumes, so we're just under 2/3 of the way through now. I reckon another month and a bit, and we should be there. So, mid-June, I reckon, we'll reach the present day. Of course, they might well be almost at now 106 by then. Assuming it'll be a summer release, there might not be, the way things have been these last few weeks and months. We're taking a trip in our time machine though, because this song feels like way more than 13 and a half years old. It feels like it could have come out in 1975. It's the Scissor Sisters, and I Don't Feel Like Dancing, and probably their biggest hit in the UK, probably their best hit as well. This is where all the elements come together and they go all out 70s, spot the influence. You got pianos from Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. You got synths from ABBA, you got vocals from Elton with a bit of the Bee Gees thrown in. So it really is like a smorgasbord of 70s sounds and stuff. You've even got some syndromes and stuff in there. So yeah, it's very retro. It is what it is. It doesn't claim to be anything else. Yet conversely, it feels kind of hip for 2006 as well. There's something fairly modern about it as well. Now, this was a time where the internet and downloads are really coming in, so a lot of kind of pop culture was kind of re-available to people in the form of the first meme videos and stuff. We'll be hearing more of them as we go through old songs that suddenly caught on again because of the internet. In this case, it's not an old song, it just sounds like it. So good stuff, good opener. Okay, another strong one now. I'll get this one lined up. I'm trying to think, we've not had Shakira on one of these. We've only had Wyclef once with, Perfect Gentleman. So it's a collab between two of the 90s or noughties biggest stars, and both have got a kind of vaguely Hispanic thing going on. I think, where was Wyclef from? Was it Puerto Rico or somewhere? Shakira, where was she from? Was she from Colombia? I better just check. I'm just picking random not Scandinavian, South American countries. So yeah, Shakira and Wyclef, way massive amount of views to this one. 773 million views. Basically 750 million. Which just goes to show how many people live in South America, really. Something that's a big hit from that part of the world is just like instantly guaranteed pretty much 1 billion views. Yeah, Shakira's from Colombia, I got it right. Always trust your first answer. And Wyclef is from, he's from Haiti, not Puerto Rico, not far from it. Yeah, it's a good song actually, it's a really good song, very catchy, that kind of infamous bit about being on tonight, make of that what you will. So yeah, that's a good song actually, two good ones to start things up. Girls Aloud, something kind of ooh, something kind of meh. I have to give them credit that they've been around for about 3 or 4 years now, and that they've been putting out a hit on pretty much every single Now. It's kind of low-hanging fruit for the Now series, but I've never really been a big Girls Aloud fan. I'm not really going to start now. Okay, one that's kind of a bit obnoxious, and I'll say there's a lot of obnoxious songs on this album. It's definitely one of the most obnoxious ones to date. This one's kind of just on the side of acceptable for me. It does help if you've had a few beers. It's one of those sort of songs. It's quite rowdy, quite raucous. It is the Fratellis and Chelsea Dagger. Yeah, this one's had 35 million, which for UK songs, pretty impressive. It's kind of glammy indie rock, ridiculously catchy, great one to kind of pogo along to and jump around mindlessly. But yeah, I like it. Chelsea Dagger, good stuff. Okay, this is followed by, I could probably talk for half an hour on this one song, really. It's Amy Winehouse and Rehab. Let me just give you a bit of my history with this song. I didn't like it when it came out. In fact, I had real beef with it. I thought it was deaf on vinyl, really. I really had issues with her singing. They tried to make me go to rehab, but I said no, no, no. And if you think I'm just making it up to kind of imply that I kind of predicted what would happen, it's all there on YouTube. Buried away about, well, however many years ago, 14 years ago-ish, in the YouTube comments, because YouTube had just about come in by 2006, or maybe about a year later when I posted on it. I must have put a dozen, maybe even 20 YouTube comments saying I really was scared by this song. I was scared by Amy not going to rehab. I thought the music industry was kind of forcing her to just kind of turn her issues into music, which is no bad thing, and certainly with Britney and some of her stuff, her personal stuff, I really enjoyed it, and I thought that the songs actually really helped us understand. Trouble with Rehab is built into its lyrical conceit is her death. They tried to make me go to rehab, and I said no, no, no. Well, we know what happened, and as I say, I was talking about this on YouTube at the time. It worried me that she wasn't going to rehab, and it seemed like the music industry was sort of almost encouraging her not to. And look what happened. Now, as a kind of byproduct of that, I got chatting on YouTube. I got arguing in a way with this lady from Cleveland, Ohio, Danelle. Hi, Danelle, if you're watching. She loved it, and she said that she could relate to it. She'd had some issues in the past, and she could relate to it. And we started to have these really long chats, all on YouTube. And then we started emailing each other. And then, we became kind of pen pals, if you like. We're still in touch. And so, I met someone who's basically, a lady from Cleveland. And we met via the Amy Winehouse video on YouTube. So regardless of what I think of the song, and obviously what happened with her life, and my misgivings about the song, it is a wonderful example of how music can bring people together, and unite people and get people talking and chatting over a YouTube video. I know people have got married via YouTube comments. So, I still have misgivings about the song, and I don't really like it. I think it's kind of an insult to Motown and stuff. My main beef being with it was very secular. It's kind of Motown without gospel, and then it's soul music without the soul, without the religion, or gospel anyway. Spirituality is a bit lacking. So it's the great god of kind of hedonism rather than anything else. That's reflected to me in Rehab. Very, very complicated. Like I say, I could talk about it for hours on end, and if you want to carry on the chat in the comments, I could write an essay on it. So there we go. I'm not going to play it because it kind of upsets me. But yeah, it is definitely a slice of pop history. Let's stick a bit of James Morrison on, and Wonderful World. This is the second James Morrison song I've played after the last one, which was, what was it called? I've forgotten now. We get through so many of these songs. But yeah, what was it? Not You Do Something to Me, You Give Me Something. Here's Wonderful World. And yeah, I like the cut of James Morrison's Jib. It just does really good songs. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, so Robbie's back with Love Light. Bit of a change of sound for Robbie. He's almost trying to go a bit Jamiroquai, and he almost sounds like a woman the way he sings it. I've loved a lot of Robbie's stuff, as you know, if you've watched a lot of these. I've loads of times given him the benefit of a doubt. So therefore, I'm not going to out and out hate on it. But, and you knew there was a but coming, I'm not really sure this is Robbie's ideal style. I never really had him down as a kind of king of funk. And the high-pitched voice seems a bit strained. It's kind of an experiment, and it's nice that he's trying to do something different. I just don't think it's really up to scratch of things like Angels and all that. But hey-ho. Okay, Christina Aguilera. She's not made any of these before, but she's been around for a good 7 or 8 years by this point. Ain't No Other Man. It's quite retro-y. People in the comments are going, oh wow, it's like the old Motown style. But, what about people like Gabrielle, who were doing this 10 years ago? Why don't they get the credit? There is a simple answer to that. I choose not to believe it, and I hope I'm not right. But the musical credit for the kind of revival of Motown stuff, I'd say people like Gabrielle, really. They're worthy of all the plaudits, way more than people like Christina Aguilera and even Amy Winehouse. So Ain't No Other Man, whilst it's not bad, it really is stuff that Gabrielle's been doing for years and years, and Beverly Knight as well, to be fair. Make of that what you will. Okay, I said this was an album full of irritating songs. Possibly the biggest culprit is Justin Timberlake with Sexy Back. Now again, I've praised a lot of his stuff. I love Cry Me a River, Rock Your Body and stuff. I'm not biased against Justin Timberlake, but God almighty, Sexy Back is abysmal. What were they thinking? It's not even sexy. Alright, I'm not going to find Justin Timberlake sexy. I'm not the demographic. i.e. I'm not a girl or a gay guy. So I don't go to Justin Timberlake for sexiness. I go for music. But it's just asexual. It's not even sexy. It's robotic. It's not musical. It's awful. Oh God, it's horrible. And I think people have kind of seen that now. I think if you look at a lot of music reviews, you'll see people going like, "What?" I guess it's his version of My Humps by Black Eyed Peas. And just as that was totally unsexy, I'm sorry, but a woman talking about my lady lumps, even if you love boobs, I'm sure most red-blooded men do, lady lumps sounds like something cancerous. It's not sexy. So that's what I think of My Humps, and I think the same probably for Sexy Back, unless he's talking about his actual back and saying he's got a very sexy back. I don't think so. Right, talking of unsexy songs, Nelly Furtado and Promiscuous. No, Nelly, you're not a sexy person. You've not got a sexy voice. Your music isn't sexy. Give up. And at least Maneater had a good chorus that you could sing along to, even though you didn't want to like it. It kind of made you like it just by being good. So fair enough. Now, I'm really, really tempted to play White and Nerdy by Weird Al now. I'd love to play it. Because, quite frankly, I actually think it's got the edge over this original, which is Ridin' or Ridin' Dirty by Chameleon Air featuring Crazy Bone. Actually, musically, Weird Al keeps it almost identical. I would say he's got just as good a flow. It is a good song, and the fact that whenever Weird Al does a parody, it's always kind of a compliment of a song he's parodying. Because there's something about the song that is kind of, well, number one, really famous, part of pop culture. And this has had 263 million views. Ridin' Dirty. I'm just quite interested to see how many White and Nerdy's had by comparison. It's kind of a compliment to this, actually, because it shows how big a song this actually was. He's only had not that many less, actually. Weird Al, White and Nerdy's had 141 million. So he's still about half what this has had. Add them together and you've got 500 million views. Good stuff. It's just not Weird Al. You just need to hear that, really, when you hear this. But it's pretty good. Actually, it's very good. It's a really good song. It's totally unique. Good stuff. And this is followed by... Now, someone else that I've kind of liked his previous songs, but I draw the line at this one. Bob Sinclair and Rock This Party. It features that Everybody Dance Now thing from CNC Music Factory. It's just a racket. There's so much going on, and it's kind of okay if you're drunk, I suppose, but it's just a really busy, bustling song. And as such, it's just a din. There's too much going on at once for these poor ears, anyway. Okay, sometimes when it comes to dance music, less is more. And almost the polar opposite to what Bob Sinclair's doing is this next one, Fedde Le Grand and Put Your Hands Up for Detroit. Because there's hardly anything going on. And as a result, it's actually better. Less is more. There's pretty much just a bass line, a beat, and a guy going, put your hands up for Detroit. And that's all you need. It's not been over-commercialised. There's no real gimmicks to it. It's all about the bass line, really, and the beat. So this is Electro House now, really coming in. And Electro House would dominate over the next few years. 50 million views. Can't be wrong. Yeah, massive club song, spawned a host of kind of mashups and stuff and remixes. Fedde Le Grand would have a few more good songs. As someone says in the comments, if you're putting your hands up in Detroit, you're most likely getting robbed. Do many people love Detroit? I must say I'm fascinated to go there. I really, really find it an interesting place. But I'd only want to go with someone who knew their way around. And I really wouldn't want to go on Devil's Night. Okay, from Detroit to somewhere I know a bit better, London. Another abomination of a song. There's a few on this album. Fergie. I'll say what though, they're not boring. In some ways, songs that are really, really bad, they make better copy than songs that are just meh. Songs that are just meh, there's nothing to say about. Songs that are abysmal, at least you can kind of have some fun talking about them. You can let off a bit of steam. And London Bridge, she might as well have done the nursery rhyme, to be honest. It's like, wasn't there someone in America bought the wrong London Bridge? Or they bought London Bridge thinking it was Tower Bridge. To be honest, this isn't really London Bridge. This is more like, what's the most shit bridge in the country? Ferry Bridge over the air, that's not great. The Humber Bridge, no, that's quite cool. There's a quite good bridge in, kind of near Liverpool, Widnes Runcorn. London Bridge, I'm talking about bridges because it's infinitely more interesting in the song. She's following on from My Humps in an attempt to be as unsexy as possible for someone to be. It's not appealing. I don't know who it's aimed at. It's just awful, really. Much sexier are the Pussycat Dolls, and get the irony, they're going, I don't need a man. And as a result, it's more appealing to men. It's that thing about forbidden fruit, isn't it? It's just assertive women almost going out their way not to be sexy. Shall I stick it on? Because I've not played a Pussycat Dolls song yet. And I think this is time. Yeah, I don't need a man. It's actually the kind of antithesis to stuff like Fergie, which is all just about kind of appealing to men on a lowest common denominator. I say all this as a straight guy, but as a straight guy who needs more than just someone gyrating around to actually be appealing. I say that as there's loads of women gyrating around in this video, but at least they got their clothes on. Well, some of them. It's just about class, really, and a bit of intelligence. You need more than lady lumps for this guy, anyway. You need a kind of cerebral thing going on. This song, yeah, it's good. It's actually got a bit of attitude. It's good stuff. I don't need a man to make it happen. Fair play. Right, okay. Sexy Love, talking about sex and love. And I'm like the fact that he's combined the two. Nao, he's someone very classy. He gets it. He really does. Really good R&B, not crass. Sensual. Kind of monogamous, if you like. Not just casual sex, but actually about being in a relationship. Great stuff. Really, really good. Really like the Nao stuff. Okay, talking of relationships and stuff. Me and You by Cassie. I don't really remember that, but I equally don't remember it being too bad. So that's one of the ones that's difficult to talk about because it's not too bad. It's not too great. It's just kind of there in the middle. Now, another one that I like, Lamar, and It's Not That Easy. I slagged off TV and reality TV stuff. But I have to be honest that Lamar came up through that avenue, so, it's possible. But I think no one really associates him with reality TV. He really kind of made it on his own talent. So, yeah, It's Not That Easy. It's more kind of retro soul from Lamar. Good stuff indeed. Okay, Rihanna and Unfaithful. Let's be honest. Rihanna's not got a very good voice. There, I said it. Changed my mind. She did good music at this time, and the production's good. Maybe a bit overproduced. It's kind of ballady, but her voice is just a bit monotonic. Now that doesn't matter in the kind of dance-hall-y sort of stuff, but when it comes to a ballad, her shortcomings are all too clear. She can't really sing, she's not got any real kind of emotion to her voice. She could read out a shopping list, and it would sound exactly the same. The Rose by Westlife, well, I can't believe how they're still going. I mean, credit to them. This must be a good 10 years since they started, and they're still around. people have left and joined and rejoined and stuff. Yeah, I'll pass over that. Okay, Gabriella and Troy from High School Musical. Again, I'm really not in the demographic for that, but I kind of respect it for what it is. It's breaking free. It's a big musical movie kind of thing. It's uber American high school stuff. So it's okay. Right, one that seems to rub a lot of people up the wrong way, talking of America. And I like the way they sequence these songs, actually. They all kind of seem to follow on. It's Razorlight and America. And yeah, I don't mind it. It's quite anthemic. It's got big chorus. It's quite kind of snobby, maybe, about America. But we are talking about the country that gave us Fergie. And I don't mean Fergie, Princess of Wales, who was married to Andrew. So, all right, we've got our own problems. Let's be honest. It's not an America versus England thing. I think we're both equally capable of coming up with annoying people. That's just the Anglosphere. Razorlight America is a good song, actually. I like it. But not quite as much as this one, which I think is a real indie anthem. It's Snow Patrol and Chasing Cars. Yeah, really nice song, really lush song. Nice and haunting, instantly recognisable. It's kind of quality guitar pop with a kind of very melancholy feel. This has had a remarkable 231 million views, 250 million views. So yeah, really nice and chill. There's even a good donk mix with it, although it's totally atonal. They've just put in these random donks that have no resemblance to the chord sequence of this. They're just sort of going up and down the keyboard at random. So it's worth a listen, but you really can't beat this original. Nice stuff, bit of class, bit of kind of vulnerability. Okay, another good song now, Paolo Nutini, who I think is from Glasgow. It's kind of a Latin sounding name, isn't it? And yeah, it's a really nice song. It reminds you a bit of that Daniel Powter one that people seem to diss, Bad Day. It's maybe not as dissed as that. Yeah, he's from Paisley. Paisley's almost Glasgow, it's just outside it, I think. Yeah, it's a really nice song, actually. Fairly acoustic, almost soul ballad. Keane, yet again, another great Keane song, Nothing in My Way, one of their best. They're going from strength to strength, really. Their songs are all kind of cut from the same cloth, but, you know, it's silk or something, so they're going to make lots of nice clothes from it, really, as it were. Okay, The Feeling, and I've liked a lot of their stuff. This is probably their best song to date. It's Never Be Lonely. This is very catchy, and it's almost, again, like a lot of their stuff, it kind of harks back to 70s in some ways. It's got interesting lyrics. Yeah, I like it. Again, as I always say with their stuff, it's a little bit twee, but not to danger levels. I'd rather twee than annoying, to be honest. Okay, now it's time for debut appearance on the Now for a band that I've seen live, and it was a bloody good show. Really, really good band. Really good live. It's Kasabian, and this is Empire. This is a right tune. I think they're from Leicester, and yeah, they were one of the best bands of the noughties. This is really, really good. Really pumping. More in that kind of Franz Ferdinand kind of mould. It also goes a bit back to the 90s in some ways. They sound really good live, just as good as they do on record, to be honest. Yeah, really anthemic stuff, stompy rock with good lyrics. So yeah, that's Kasabian. And another great guitar song, The Killers, and When You Were Young, which is another really good song by them, actually. They've done a fair few good songs. I'm big fan. Okay, now next up is one I'm not that big a fan of, You in Your Hand by Pink. I wonder what that's about. Same thing as Turning Japanese, maybe. Yeah, as always with Pink, there's something of a good song in there, but it's like too done by committee. You just get the feeling that there's a million people have kind of stuck their oar in. Oh, don't do it like that. Do it like this. Add this. Take that out. And as a result, it feels like a bit kind of got the dead hand of corporate rock. just sort of smothering it a bit. If it had just been Pink on her own and a band of her choice, and they'd just released it straight out via download only, it'd probably be better. Okay, I'm not going to waste any breath on Lily Allen. I said it all in my last video. I'll just say it's probably the worst song on the album again. I'll try and think of someone else because I don't want to feel like I'm bullying her. But God almighty, that's Lily Allen and then LDN. Okay, I'm a much bigger fan of All Saints and Rocksteady. They're back again. Been a while. I'll stick it on actually. It's been a real while since we've had any All Saints. This is, yeah, it's kind of almost a bit ska-y in a way, or kind of retro reggae-ish. It's still kind of girl band pop, but it's just kind of wearing its homages on its sleeve. That sounds gross. You know what I mean? It's homages, it's homages or whatever. Yeah, it's just a kind of tribute to stuff they know. Really had very few views indeed, only 100,000. But it's a good song. Yeah, I like it. Way better than Lily Allen. Everything's better than Lily Allen. Even Fergie. Oh, I don't know actually. That's a real run for money. Okay, Simon Webb is coming around again with Coming Round Again. Jamelia's coming round again with Something About You. Now, if you only listen to the first 40 seconds of that, you might be forgiven for wanting to skip it. It's got more of a kind of cheap drum programming. But suddenly, at 40 seconds, the unexpected happens and a live drum kit comes in and it starts turning into a rock song. And at that point, it suddenly takes off and you're like, wow, was not expecting that. So just ditch your first 40 seconds and start there and you can't really go wrong. Interesting. Okay, Curate's Egg now. Body Rocks featuring Luciana. If Luciana did one, the song would be really good. She's almost as annoying as Lily Allen. It's the most annoying vocals on any song on this album, to be honest. She just shouts in a really obnoxious way, which is a shame because the music's great. So one way to really ruin a good backing track is to get Luciana on it. No, sorry. Okay, it's another bit of pop culture history now. Someone who gets an awful lot of criticism, maybe fairly justified. I don't really know. I certainly love this song, and when this came out, he didn't really get any criticism. It seemed to be a few singles later when he went a bit more commercial. This basically takes the backing track from The Eggs' Toca Disco remix of Walking Away. I've seen The Egg live actually. They were supporting Sparks in Hackney, and Walking Away was an old song by them. There was a kind of obscure remix of it by Toca Disco, which is where these guitar strummings come from. David Guetta's put on some new vocals. Love Don't Get Me Go. Love Don't Let Me Go. What's the guy's name? Chris someone. And as a result, you've ended up with a really, really good song. Yeah, I think David Guetta would go on to become a bit more cheesy. But I think this is a great song, quite frankly. Still pumping around. Is it a mashup? Oh, yeah, okay. It's Chris Willis was the guy's name. Right, okay, so Love Don't Let Me Go was actually a totally different song, but it was by David Guetta. Very complex with all these mashups, isn't it? It's like algebra. Add 2 times x plus 3b squared, divide by 2, and then multiply by the number you first thought of. But it kind of works despite all that. Okay, Cascada make their first appearance now with the first of many fairly identical singles. Very, very kind of pop dance. Quite hard in terms of the beats, but very, very Euro in terms of the vocal melodies. Actually, I'll be honest, it's got a very beautiful melody. If you were to strip away all the kind of electronics and just play it on the piano, it would be a really gorgeous melody. And as a result, I think it stands the test of time. I'm going to stick it on. It might have gone shit in the intervening years. I've not heard it for a while, but it was really, really popular when it came out, and it was probably one of their biggest singles. Yeah, it's 126 million views. I'm not going to say it's not cheesy. It is, but it's kind of banging as well. So if I'd had a few drinks, I'd probably be up dancing to this one. Right. We follow this one with Borderline by Michael Gray, which is adequate, but it feels a bit tired. Ditto, Beat Freaks, and Super Freak. These are kind of old style, to me now, filter dance. It's just getting a bit silly now, really. Keeps going on and on. Right, really annoying song. And one of the first ever real memes to kind of throw up a hit record is Chacaron by El Chombo, which is absolute gibberish, really. It really is. It's just utter gibberish. Followed by Smiley Faces. Good follow-up for Niles Barkley, CeeLo Green and Danger Mouse. Bit more up-tempo. Yeah, good message. I've talked about CeeLo Green's silly actions and stuff. I'm not going to keep dwelling on it. I prefer to listen to the music. And Smiley Faces is a good song. Okay, McFly, Stargirl. I'm getting a bit sick of it. I've really given them the benefit of a doubt constantly, but this one's pushing my patience to the limit. Matt Willis, Hey Kid. Adequate. It's not as good as the last one he did. Bit annoying, really. I really don't know what to make of David Hasselhoff Jump in My Car. I can only put it down to another kind of meme style one. And at least he's kind of in on the joke himself. David Hasselhoff. You ever heard Crazy For You by him? Listen to that and then listen to YMCA, Other Village People. God almighty, we keep jump in a car with David Hasselhoff? And as if that wasn't enough, we end this real curate segment album with Meatloaf. I'm sure someone here's got a rather twisted sense of humour on this album. There are some really obnoxious songs. Is it obnoxious? It's just Meatloaf. And Meatloaf after about 1978. No, Modern Girl, that was a good song. That was the last good Meatloaf song in my opinion. 1984. Everything after that. Ugh. So let's go through this album then. What's the real classic? I think Sister Sisters, I Don't Feel Like Dancing. I think Hips Don't Lie, Shakira and Wyclef. I think Chelsea Dagger, it kind of irritates people, but it's a classic. Rehab, Amy, well, if you actually analyse the music, it's not very good. But it's definitely part of pop culture. Sexy Back's god-awful. Riding, even if partly thanks to White and Nerdy by Weird Al, that probably elevated that song. Fedde Le Grand, Put Your Hands Up for Detroit. Sexy Love, Neo. Lamar, It's Not That Easy. America, Razorlight. Chasing Cars, Snow Patrol. Last Request, Paolo Nutini. Nothing in My Way, Keen. Never Be Lonely. The Feeling, Empire Kasabian, and When You Were Young, The Killers. That's a hell of a run of great songs, classics. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all bundled together. Then Love Don't Let Me Go, and Every Time We Touch, I think are good dance classics. Smiley Faces is okay, and that's about it really. Jump in My Car's got to be heard to be believed. So now 65, a weird one that, annoying but kind of fun, and definitely got lots of classics. So when it's bad, it's very, very bad. When it's good, it's amazing. We'll be back next time, getting our kicks with Now 66. See you later, guys.